I've already traded my way up to over 500,000 coins in FC26, and today I'm going to show you guys how you can do that too, which investments you need to make now, and which cards you need to sell if you still have them. What's the most important thing in FC26 Ultimate Team? It's coins, and where can you get the cheapest coins? At Loot Bar. It's the cheapest and it's the safest coin trading platform on the entire market. It's 10% cheaper than all the other platforms, and if you use my code Nitro, they're going to give you an extra 8%, and if that's not enough percent, they're going to give you 5% more coins than what you even paid for. Loot Bar has quick delivery within a half an hour. Big creators use it, and it also has great reviews. Don't forget code Nitro at checkout. My current investments include Claudia Pina, Conte, Pulisic, we've got Eder Militao, Malcolm, and this non-rare card Del Castillo, in which I've also got some more over on my transfer targets where I've been bidding on these cards, trying to get them for as cheap as possible. But the reason we're investing in these cards is because I believe that a lot of these guys are going to get into Team of the Week too. And you might ask, why are we investing in gold cards that are going to get Team of the Weeks? It's not like the gold card gets upgraded. However, the gold card does go out of packs for an entire week, which means the supply is completely cut off and the cards are going to go to the moon. That's why I invested in all of these gold cards, because I don't think they're going to be in packs starting this Wednesday. And I got some pretty good deals. They're already up a little bit in price. And Claudia Pina for Barcelona, she scored a hat trick today for the Barcelona women's teams. And then there's a lot of other cards that you could even go out and get, like the gold Joao Felix. Ajork is possibly going to get in. I don't know what he did in his game. And then Heung-min Son for LAFC. If they do include him, it would be from a hat trick that he scored on Wednesday, which I'm not 100% sure EA Sports are going to count. So that one is a little bit more risky, but it could work out, especially if he gets into Team of the Week. I think that gold card goes very high in price. However, it's not the only cards that are going out of packs on Wednesday, because we're also going to see Team of the Week 1 exit packs, and they'll not be back in packs until a couple of them make it into the best of team back in like November during Black Friday, so we don't got to worry about that. I'm definitely not holding that long. I really only want to hold a couple of days, a week at the most, and the cards that really catch my eye in this team are cards like Fluctuation for 16K or less, because if you look at the EAFC 25 Team of the Week 1, the cards that went up the most were the cards that had the most pace, like Trinity Rodman and Adeyemi. Not all of them, because like Soar doesn't really link to anybody, even though he had 93 pace. I don't think he really changed in price, but those kind of cards do go up after week 1 ends, including on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before they're even out of packs. Take a look at Adeyemi. Last year, on Saturday, he was 82,000 coins. On Sunday, he was 87. On Monday, he was 91,000 coins. So he slowly rose over the course of that weekend, a pretty significant amount, but he didn't stop. He continued to go up, and by the end of the week, he was over 100,000 coins. By the end of September, he was basically at 135,000 coins, almost doubling in price. And when we look at Philogene's graph right here, you can actually see it's kind of been the same way. On Saturday, he was 14K, and then on Sunday, he was 15K, and now he's creeping up into the 16 to 17K. If you can get him on a snipe for anything less than 16,000 coins, I think you're getting a decent deal, because I don't expect to have a huge amount of supply in the next couple days. The next time we're going to get big supply is going to be division rival rewards, which shouldn't be until after this Team of the Week is out of packs anyway, so we're good on that. So I like Philogene as an investment, but it could also, be complemented with a couple of other investments in this team right here. I think that there's some low risk investments that you can go in on, like Antoine Semenyo, who's 12,000 coins right now, but you can snipe him for 11. I've got a few of them for 10.5 that I got on bid, and all you can do is just club stock those, or you can send them to your transfer list, or you could even quick sell a few of them and then go get them out of the quick sell recovery later in the week after they've gone up in price. And that way you can use those coins in the meantime with your investments anyway. But there's not a ton of cards that are really incredible. I think Furman might be decent. He also looks like one of those cards that could potentially get involved in a lot of evolutions this year, just because of the fact that he plays so many different positions, doesn't really have any play styles that are like going to limit his availability for Evos, and doesn't really have any stats that are going to limit the availability for Evos either. So I think Furman could end up being a good like long-term investment right there as well. But what happened to the rest of the meta market? If these cards weren't going out of packs, if they weren't linking to any big SBC, what happened to the meta market? Well, after Monday, these cards started going down pretty heavily. Last year, Griezmann, who was super meta with the Finesse Shot Plus, Everybody was using him. He went from 118,000 coins all the way down to 97,000 coins by Thursday during and before Rivals Rewards. On Wednesday, he was already under 100K, and by Tuesday, he had already dropped over 15,000 coins. Now, there is a nice rebound that happens on the weekend. After Rivals Rewards, the injection of coins and the buying power of the market, it brings the market back up real nicely, and best believe, we're spending every coin we have later this week, right before Rivals Rewards happens. However, we do want to avoid that first drop, and it's not just Griezmann, it's the entire market. Every single card, whether they rose or drop long-term, like Ferland Mendy, which actually went up long-term, that card still dropped during this time. After the first weekend, that card went from 125K all the way down to 110,000 coins. Sandro Tonali, he ended up going from 71,000 coins. On Monday, he was 67. By Tuesday and Wednesday, he was 50,000 coins. So pretty much the entire meta market does drop starting on Monday, but most heavily on Tuesday and especially Wednesday, because people are selling their cards in preparation for this first big supply in this year. The second big supply, because Division Rival Rewards will bring a lot of cards onto the market all at the same time. So you want to avoid holding on to the very hyped up, meta expensive cards like Marmoush right now. Even though he is very good in the game and he should hold a lot of value, he is going to drop throughout the next couple of days. You can rebuy this card on Thursday. Tiani Reinders, Kolo Muani, a lot of these cards that are very meta, very expensive right now are going to be going down over the next couple of days. So be very careful of that and wait until you get to Division Rival Rewards to rebuy that card and take your profits throughout this upcoming weekend. Now, we might also see a lot of panic selling due to the first promo of the year dropping on Friday. It's called Cornerstones. I don't know who's going to be in it yet. Of course, if you're in the Foot Peppy live trading service, you'll know before everybody on who's in this promo, and you'll be able to buy those gold cards that are going out of packs as well. The link to that live trading service is in the description. But this Cornerstones promo is probably going to cause panic up until this upcoming Friday. We might have a little bit of chaos on Friday for the first hour, but overall, I think the market will do well going into that weekend after all the chaos is over. So as long as you have your investments before that, you should be good to go. But for the next couple of days, I'm staying mostly liquid, and I'm going to be trading on the market with my trading methods. One trading method I like to use right now, and it works for any budget, but we'll use Harry Kane as an example. This Inform card is about 180,000 coins right now, but look how much he fluctuates. It's called fluctuation trading. At his peak, he normally peaks at about 185,000 coins. That's the price you would like to sell him for. At his low points, he normally gets down to as low as about 155,000 coins. At his very lowest, it was 147, unless you're counting that exact first night where nobody had any coins whatsoever. But he gets back up to 180, back down to 150, back up to 185, back down to 150, back up to 180, back down to 150. This is just his normal fluctuation throughout each day. Back up to 190, back down to 160. And right now, he's slowly going up as more people get buying power, but the fluctuations, they stay roughly the same. And he did hit a peak at about 190. He got back down to about 174. He's 180 right now, but if I could get that for less than 170, I know I should be able to sell that for 190 in the next couple of hours, and I'm going to be making about 10,000 coin profit, actually a little bit more than that, even after the 5% tax. And you can use that for pretty much any card that fluctuates a lot. And to find that, you can just search through some of these cards and see, is this card bouncing up and down enough for me to make profit? And as I look at this graph, and I chose Rodrigo just randomly, I don't think this would be a great one, because as you can see, his value was 77K, his peak was 82K. The tax at that is about 4,000 coins. I'd be making only 1,000 coins, even if we timed it perfectly. That's probably not a card I would want to do it with, but all you have to do is look at these graphs and you find the cards that are bouncing up and down a lot, like that Inform Kane, and you can absolutely crush it by buying and selling the exact same card 6 times in the exact same day. If you've made it this far in the video, help me hit 500 likes by dropping a like right now, and also comment down below what's your best pack pull of FC26 so far. The next trading method that I'm going to show you guys is similar to that 1, 2, 3 method, which I'll show you guys again. 1, 2, and 3. That's all you've got to do is set your min price, max price, and min buy now. You can set your max buy now at 10 million if you want, just to update it. And you're going to scroll across and you're going to find the cards that already have bids on them, and then you're going to bid on those cards. It doesn't take a lot to make this method work. Now, sometimes you might bid on a card and not make a lot of coins because maybe the person before you was overbidding on it. But you're basically just trusting the fact that because they have demand and people are still bidding, that it's under what their buy now price is and you're getting a decent deal. So Chevalier, I'm going to go ahead and bid 1,800 on that card. Soboslai, you know what? I'll slap a 1,200 bid on, I'll outbid on that one already. But that's basically how this method works right there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change that method. Now that I've got a little bit more coins, I'm rocking 200,000 coins liquid right now, even with the investments. So we're going to go up the budget to 10, 20, 30. So 10, 20, and 30 on the min buy now, and then that's going to show me higher budget cards using the exact same method. Now, this is something to where I would go ahead and I would check what those cards are going for before I actually bid on it, just in case I'm not going to make profit if I were to bid. Like right here, you've got a Mapi Leon for 13,000 coins. She sells for 14,000 coins, so that's not terrible. I could bid and make a little bit of profit, but not much on that card right there. Christian Pulisic, let's go ahead and scroll a couple pages. That way it's not at, 0 seconds left. But you've got 88 rated Dabinia there for 10,750 coins. Dabinia goes for 33,000 coins. So we found a nice little bid to get involved in right there. We'll add it to the transfer targets. We still know that it goes for more than 30,000. So I'm going to bid 30,250. Let's go ahead and look at that Marcus Thuram. 15,000, 16,000, and see if he's going for maybe like 17.5 or higher. And that's exactly what he's going for, is about 17.5. So if I were to get this card, we know that there is about, I would say, 800 coin tax at that price. So if I could sell that for 17.5, I would go for 17,750 and I'd make a decent bit of profit on each card. So that's basically how it works. It shows you all these cards that are almost expired on bids. Rather than searching cards individually to bid on, you can see a bunch of them to bid on using the 10, 20, 30 method, the 1, 2, 3 method. And that way, when we do get a lot of supply, whether it be from promo packs, division rivals, FUT champs, or squad battle rewards, or anything else, all of that supply is going to be expiring right here, and you can bid on all of it at once rather than just looking at certain individual cards. Leaked SBCs are always great for making coins, not because you're going to buy what you think they're going to be required in, like SBC fodder, although that is a great way to make coins a little later in the year. This is the way you make coins with them right now. It's complement link trading, and we've already seen Reece James. He was, one of the first SBCs. We just saw the Berchiche and Pepe showdown SBCs yesterday. We've already seen most of them except for one, but Pepe came out yesterday. This was a very good value SBC. Only 17K for a card with great pace, and obviously people are going to do that SBC and add that to their attack in this point in the game. And what links to that, Pepe? Well, Ayoze Perez also plays for Villarreal, so you can have an attack of Pepe and Ayoze Perez, and he's 9.3 thousand coins now. But just yesterday, he was 5,000 coins. So what happened? Well, the release of that Pepe SBC made this card nearly double in price, and it might complete that, going extinct by tomorrow. Who knows? But what we do know is that the Chukwuemeka SBC for World Tour hasn't dropped yet. It should be the same exact card style as that Reece James we got on day one. But Chukwuemeka has not yet dropped into the game, but we know that it's on its way. So it's likely that today on this Monday will be the Chukwuemeka SBC day. And so we've got to look at some cards that might link to Chukwuemeka that could end up going up in value. One of those cards could end up being like Schlotterbeck. Schlotterbeck obviously gets that link through Dortmund with Chukwuemeka. You could also look for cards that are English. Obviously, Joe Bellingham gets insane chemistry with him, but Joe Bellingham is also already pretty much extinct, so that's probably not a good investment right there. But there's plenty of other options like Emre Can, who's only 1,100 coins, maybe Felix Mecha, who's about 10K, but his cap is 100,000, so he's not going to hit 100K. That's not what I'm saying, but he could go up in price a little bit. Gregor Kobel in goalkeeper could also be one that might go up a little bit. You guys get the point. There's a lot of different ways that you guys can make these cards link, and you know what's another one of those cards, and one that we've already talked about today that could be a great link? It's that Harry Kane. He's from England and in the Bundesliga. So this Harry Kane could actually end up being a good investment for multiple reasons, not just because he's going out of packs on Wednesday. So that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you made it this far, you might as well subscribe to Nitro Gaming while you're at it. Check out the live trading service by FutPeppy, the #1 trader of all time, and get involved right now for just €5. You're never going to find a better deal than that. Link is at the top of the description. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.